Hey, everybody. I'm Matt.
And I'm Dan.
Welcome to Hang Out with your Slang Out. This episode might get a little contentious. There's a lot of conversation that happens with this word. Anytime you use it, it elicits emotions in other people where they have to decide whether or not they agree with you.
Man, I feel like I'm locked in a glass cage of emotion.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there. You're still there. I just thought you were there to say your name.
You started without me last time. I want to be the greatest at something.
We don't know that this is going to be the GOAT episode. Well, we do know that it's going to be the GOAT episode, but we don't know if it's going to be the GOAT greatest episode of all time? Question mark?
There is no question mark. It will be the greatest.
Welcome to Hang Out with your Slang Out.
Some would say of podcasting, you're on the road to be a GOAT.
Do you mean by that, like, we're a podcast that will soon eat tin cans?
I was just referring to your beard. It's very GOAT-like.
Oh.
What did you mean?
Well, I didn't mean anything. I didn't even say GOAT yet.
Oh. Bah.
That joke was bad.
That was hella bad.
Oh, so now you're going to use hella right?
Sure. GOAT, sometimes referred to as goated. If we want to describe the definition of GOAT, it means the greatest of all time at something.
Right, like Tony Danza. Go ahead.
He was a hell of a dancer, by the way.
Hella, yes.
A lot of times Michael Jordan gets thrown in the goated category.
So to be goated is like to be knighted.
Too much.
Do you also have to have royalty that coronates you as goated?
I don't think so, but I'm not an authority on being goated.
Like,
I haven't been goated good at anything.
Did John Goodman get goated in King Ralph?
Ooh, King Ralph. See, that's a surprise.
Fantastic movie, though.
Is it?
You know what? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if it still holds up.
That's what I'm.
I do love me some John Goodman, though, so I probably would still like it.
He's pretty much good in everything, even when it's bad.
Yeah,
he's always good.
Yeah.
To me, goated or GOAT. To me, that's a small list, and it's usually referred to sports athletes.
I do definitely think that whether it's athletes or not, it's public figures specifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of them like to throw that around now, public figures, and
claim that they're the GOAT.
Yeah, and you can't do that.
No, somebody has to say that you're the GOAT.
Yeah.
You can't claim yourself that you're the GOAT.
And usually that doesn't happen until you take over the world. So,
unless you're Ricky Henderson, he did claim on that fateful day in 1993 that he was the greatest of all time, and he was not wrong.
Ricky Henderson, is that the car driver? Ricky Bobby?
No, that's Ricky Bobby.
Okay.
Ricky Henderson is the greatest stolen base merchant of all time. Ricky Henderson, when he stole his 939th base against the Yankees when I was at school because my dad refused to take me.
All right.
Oh, now you want to listen to the story
Well,
because I didn't get to
you
go.
can't throw your dad in there and me be snoring. That's hella dumb.
See, you used it right again.
It's the wrong episode.
That episode's paying off.
Yeah.
Anyways, he got up and held the base above his head and said that he was the greatest of all time. It was one of the few times that actually Ricky Henderson has not referred to himself as Ricky Henderson in the third person. But I don't know. There are other GOATs out there. There's a lot of argument about basketball GOATs.
Nope.
For sure.
No argument.
There are arguments. I'm not saying that
they're all wrong. There is no argument.
All right. So Robert Parrish is clearly the GOAT.
I was going to say Danny Ainge, but
okay. Neither of those are accurate.
Yeah. I mean, there is what did he call himself? Black Jesus. Michael Jordan is just as an all-time figure in what he accomplished on any level. You could put him up against in the entertainment industry. You can put him up against sports. You can put him up against literature. And that dude is the GOAT. The only guy I would put next to him, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this one, who I might actually even think is bigger than him, is Leo Messi.
Oh, you went different sport?
Yeah. Not that Michael Jordan wasn't international and worldwide, but the sport that Messi does is an actual world sport.
Mm-hmm.
And to be the GOAT of that is, to me, on another level.
So I didn't know you were going in a different direction, because here's my thing. Like, basketball, it's pretty assuredly Michael Jordan. It's so much Michael Jordan, and I hate to say it because I've always argued against it, but if one of the others that was potentially considered the GOAT, Kobe Bryant, modeled literally everything he did after Michael Jordan, and you can see it in all of his moves,
Baby Jordan,
then by extension, having another person that could be the GOAT in that conversation, mimicking that person, makes that person then the GOAT.
Yeah. And we'll get a lot of King James references. I'm sure people will say LeBron. And I have nothing against LeBron. He's amazing. He's great. But it's a different storyline. It's a different era. It's a different beast of...
Well, and it's a different style. It's a different position. Like, LeBron James is newer, stronger Magic Johnson. He's not Michael.
Yeah. And there couldn't be a LeBron if Michael hadn't done or raised the level to what he did. And I think if you took a Michael now, you took him out of the mid 80s, late or early 90s, and you plugged him in now, he would still dominate everybody, because he would reach the levels that needed to be reached.
Probably. He'd probably half dominate people currently at 50 some odd years old too.
Yeah, all you got to do is dare him.
But he's not the GOAT of any sport.
Who do you got?
Wayne Gretzky is the greatest of all time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Kerry Strug.
Kippy Strug? That's a nice little Saturday Night Live flashback.
See,
remember that?
I'd put Gretzky on the list.
Yeah, so would I. At the top of it.
Of hockey, yeah, sure.
No, of any sport ever.
No.
Okay.
I'd put Tony Hawk over him. Just stunned him. I'm serious, though.
You'd put Tony Hawk.
Let's see Gretzky try to do half of what Tony Hawk did.
Let's see Tony Hawk do anything Gretzky did.
All I can do is put ice skates on and go.
That's...
I could do about a third of what Wayne Gretzky does. I can't do it that well.
Just so everybody knows, sooner or later we'll have a YouTube site up, and we're going to see if he can do a third of the stuff Wayne Gretzky could do. He had so many goals. How many did he have? No, he had so many goals that Alex Ovechkin, currently chasing him, would need 2 more years at 50 plus goals, and he's already like 43 years old. Like, what's he going to do? He had a year where he had 212 points. Mm-hmm. That's nearly 3 points a game, which, when you compare to Michael Jordan, who gets 2 points every time he makes a basket, it's not the same. Anyways.
Well, my thought is you can't compare sports, but you can't compare stats either, because it's beyond stats when you're saying who's the GOAT.
Right.
Right?
Right, because in hockey, somebody's trying to stop you from scoring. So clearly those stats mean more. But the point is, he had 212 points.
Uh-huh.
The leading point scorer this season, Connor McDavid, who's widely regarded as a generational talent and one of the most amazing hockey players ever, had 153 points or something like that.
Okay, so I'll give you Gretzky goated for hockey.
No, Gretzky goated for any sport ever.
Here's the thing. Michael in his prime, if you told him to go play hockey, he would have beat Gretzky.
Yeah, well, Gretzky would have beat him at basketball.
Like the ones you do at the places where they give you little tickets and
Pop
stuff.
shot.
Right? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
And I will argue wholeheartedly against what you just said about Michael, because did you see him play baseball?
Yeah, but
that was in his prime. That
wasn't in his prime.
Absolutely it was.
Because it took him
he just won his 3rd championship.
Yeah, to get to the prime for baseball, you have to resculpt your body, which he had done.
But you're saying that he could have stepped in his prime into skates and done the things Gretzky was doing.
I think if you would have told Michael he couldn't, he would have taken the next 3 years and prove you wrong.
Okay.
Goated gets used a lot. I think it gets used too much, and you'll see the emoji for goat on a lot of stuff.
Honestly, goat has gotten used so much that it's lost all meaning. Goat.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like goat anymore.
No. How can everybody be the greatest of all time at something?
The thing is, though, is when it gets used right, like when Leo Messi finally, Argentina finally got the World Cup. His sponsor Adidas, all they did was have a poster of a goat head. And
severed?
Yeah, it could be severed.
No, but was it?
Yeah. I don't think it was severed. I think it's just Photoshopped.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, he was sweating over here. But that's all you needed to say, and nobody can argue that.
PETA would have been all over that. And I'm not talking about the character from the Hunger Games. Like,
he's talking about the food.
People for the ethical treatment of animals would have been all over that.
No, because he's the GOAT. What are they going to do? They can't touch him. Royalty.
They can't if it's a severed head, man.
No.
Yes.
Wherever he goes, they just throw severed heads at him. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, well, that's Argentina. It's not a first world country.
Wait
Sorry
till-
to the people of Argentina. You probably are a first world country. I just needed that for the joke.
Big news with Messi.
Yeah, that is big news. I think, we were remiss. We might have mentioned him in passing. But the man just got offered $1.6 billion to play soccer this week and turned it down.
I wish I had the balls to do that. But I'm not the GOAT.
And I think that it's possible that in and of itself kind of makes him the GOAT. Because that means that these people were willing to pay him $1.6 billion, recognizing that he would grow the sport.
Yeah, and he's having the response to it is insane, and I don't think it's played itself out yet, but it's already impacted MLS at a level that I knew was going to happen, but when you're seeing it happen, it's still blowing my mind. So, I mean, I wonder where this will lead. I actually think 1.6 billion sounds phenomenal right now, but number one, he doesn't need the money. Two, in the long run, he's setting himself up to make 10 times that.
Yeah, 100%. If MLS doesn't mess it up, which they will.
They might.
Yeah. I just think that it's important to note that I don't know that prime Jordan, prime Gretzky would have been offered $1.6 billion to do their thing.
And again, we talked about this earlier. The idea of Messi is it's the sport he is in, the what he's considered the GOAT at is international. And though Michael and them are international stars, the sport technically isn't. It's becoming more international, but they call football or soccer, that's the world sport. It's the world sport for a reason.
Because it's cheap.
Because it's awesome.
Oh, and cheap. Where does Tiger fit on your list of GOATs?
Tiger's a double-edged sword, and I might piss a lot of people off, but
You usually do.
yeah. Do I? I thought you're the one that pisses everybody off. I'm the nice guy.
That's what you think?
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
I think Jack Nicholson's the.
Nicholas?
What did I say? Oh, I said the actor.
Yeah.
Well, okay. He's goated for his acting.
He's also a kind of a GOAT. Yeah, sure.
But yeah,
He's the greatest Los Angeles Lakers fan of all time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Flea.
You can't deny what Tiger did or has done. Or
Tiger
does.
completely changed the sport. Tiger made it so people would watch golf. I remember growing up, and my grandpa would always be watching golf when I go down to visit them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so boring. Like even watching good players play was just boring.
Yeah.
It was never boring watching Tiger. And he made it to, because everybody has a tough time deciding whether or not it's a sport or a game.
Oh, it's totally a sport.
And I think it's both.
Anybody who legitimately plays golf is hard.
Well, and nobody pre-Tiger really worried about the fitness side of it. Like these guys for sure are athletes now.
Yeah, you look at them now, all the young guys, they're all fit now.
And that young, fit, quality golfer doesn't exist without Tiger existing.
Yeah. So here's my dilemma. But Tiger comes with a lot of baggage, and I still think he ruined his career.
Yeah, I think so. Like he definitely had his problems and his demons where he would probably still be winning tournaments now if he hadn't let all those things creep in.
Yeah.
I think losing his dad didn't help.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's hard to judge his greatness when I see his ugliness there's nothing to hate more than when someone's ugliness gets revealed, but they're like, it's okay because you're good at this, putting a ball in a hole.
Oh yeah.
I hate that stuff. And you get that in football a lot. You get that in basketball a ton. And it's one of my least favorite things.
I mean, Michael wasn't perfect either in that sense.
No, but not on that kind of level.
No, not on that kind of level.
Gambling is...
But then that's a slippery slope. Like, where do you draw the line?
Well, I draw the line, and gambling wouldn't have hurt anybody except Michael. What he did...
Tell Pete Rose that. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's Pete Rose.
Yeah.
We don't know.
The greatest hitter of all time. I definitely get what you're saying about Tiger's transgressions and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to say that Jack Nicklaus, not Nicholson, or Arnold Palmer did had any sort of transgressions. They seem like perfectly good individuals. But the sport until Tiger came around was by white people, for white people in country clubs where you get away with a lot of things that you probably wouldn't get away with in the normal world. So
I think a lot of them are still getting away with it.
So I think there are probably things in that world that we didn't know about.
Oh, easily. And that's just probably my personal opinion of like, I'm trying to lump in who the person is with that. And that as I get older, it's harder to take that out because that to me, that makes the person.
Well, it's so hard, and you compartmentalize down inside the sports too, right? Or inside the activities. Like you can say that Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever. But is there somebody who's the greatest center ever? Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I gotta go Kareem.
Yeah, but that's because you got to see him growing up. It was probably Bill Russell. But
Yao Ming.
No, I mean, if we were going to go with Houston Rockets centers, it'd have to be Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Oh, I hated that guy.
Yeah, I hated him too, but he was really good.
Yeah, he was really good.
Like possibly GOAT level good.
Think so?
At his position. Yeah.
All right. We should call you the Dream.
Let's not do that.
We can't do that?
We can call me the Nightmare. I'm your worst nightmare.
I like Matt the Dream Kean.
You probably didn't even get the reference. That's so lame.
Do it again.
I'm your worst nightmare.
It's Sly, right?
No, it's Weird Al doing Sly in the movie UHF.
No, but I thought he doesn't do that in a movie?
Yeah, he probably does. But it sounds better when Weird Al does it. And I'm impersonating Weird Al impersonating him. So.
Sylvester Stallone. Damn, that's 3 separations of Weird Al.
Yeah, it's like the Kevin Bacon of impersonations. He's the GOAT of being in movies with people.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't even know that that's
favorite Kevin Bacon movie. There is only one.
You're going to say Footloose?
Nope. Not even close.
Oh. How is Footloose not even close?
Not even close.
Well, okay, what is it now? Is it one of the X-Men movies?
Is he in that X-Men movie?
I think so. Wasn't he in like X-Men New Class or something like that?
Oh, he might have been. He's in everything, so we can pick and choose.
Just name a movie. I'm sure he was in it in some. Okay, so what's the greatest Kevin Bacon movie of all time?
Tremors.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh my God. All right, I'm pushing stop on this right now. Are you serious? You've never seen Tremors?
Yeah, no.
It's an 80s classic. It's like a late 80s. Or no, it's an early 90s critic.
Now that I say that.
That's
right. No, I still haven't seen it. But I'm pretty sure it was on like in our living room once.
It's probably on a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, probably not a lot. Like my parents wouldn't watch things a lot.
No, I'm just saying it's on TV all the time. So
not as much as Shawshank Redemption.
True. That's a perfect movie.
There you go. Who's the greatest voice actor of all time? Is it James Earl Jones or is it Morgan Freeman? Or is it some third person I'm not thinking of, like Will Arnett?
No, it'd be who does Homer's voice?
Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah. Underdog right there.
See, I would go Hank Azaria.
Oh. Okay. I won't fight you on that.
Yeah. Everybody loves them some Professor Frank.
Yeah, those guys don't get
Clavin.
They don't get enough love. Okay. Who would be the GOAT of The Simpsons?
I mean, it's so easy to say Homer. I feel like that's a cop-out.
It has to be Homer.
Does it have to be Homer?
It's the whole thing. I know Bart and Lisa's dynamic got the whole thing, but it's like Married with Children is Al Bundy. Simpsons is Homer. If you're not going to be there for him and his dumbness and his stupidity and his that's the whole reason you're there.
I guess.
Everything builds off of that. He's like the heart of the show.
Here's your hot take. It's Mo.
He's a dark horse?
Yeah, I guess. If that's what you want to call it. That guy shines.
Really?
Yeah.
Barney don't get no love?
Barney's not, he doesn't have the same quotes that Mo has. And remember, Mo has good quotes on his own, but then was also a foil for Bart's prank calls, which inadvertently made him say really great quotes.
We should do that more often.
Or when he...
What's the best prank call you can remember from Mo?
Most people would probably say Seymour Butts, which is good, but it's not Amanda Hug and Kiss. Hey guys, I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. Aren't we all, Mo?
All right, I got one for you. Greatest cereal of all time.
You're going to hate my answer.
No, I love all your answers.
You won't like this one.
If you say grape nuts,
It's almost as boring.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
Corn checks.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't hate you for that because I grew up with rice checks. I loved rice checks, but I needed about a pound of sugar every time I ate them.
No, see, when I was a kid, and even still, when I eat cereal, it's corn checks or Cheerios, nothing added.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's like eating sawdust.
I can even eat them dry. In fact, a lot of times I do. Sometimes I'll eat them dry with a glass of milk off to the side, so I get exactly as much lactose lubrication as I could possibly need.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So I have a two-parter on my answer to that. When I was a kid, it's Cookie Crisp all damn day. But that's a kid thing. That's a sugar, I loved all the staples like Trix and all that, Fruit Loops, but
Sure.
for some reason, Cookie Crisp just hit hard. But the only cereal my dad would buy was Honey Nut Cheerios and Rice Chex.
Interesting. I mean, I did like Honey Nut Cheerios.
And now
but even that seemed too sweet for me.
And now I absolutely love those. But as an adult,
I went on to a Kix kick for a while.
Really? That was one of the ones I never liked. That was like Lucky Charms. It was like,
see, those were my two favorites of the sweet Cheerios.
Gotcha.
Sweet cereals. Because like Lucky Charms is just creative Cheerios.
What?
It's Cheerios with marshmallows added to it.
Tasted like paste.
So then why didn't you like it? We all know your history of eating paste.
Oh. Yeah. Shh.
And then Kix was like, ooh, I'm getting sugar, kind of.
No.
Yeah.
If you ate real sugar cereals, Kix was not. That was like eating Cheerios.
No, that's what I mean. I'm getting sugar, kind of. Like, you have to understand, if my two go-tos were corn checks and Cheerios,
Kix is like crack.
Kix was like hardlining pixie sticks for me.
There is a good idea but that's basically every cereal now.
I don't understand why they didn't team up. Why couldn't they have made Pixie Kicks?
Well, there you go. Should we like trademark that right now?
I don't know if just saying it and then saying trademarked counts as trademarking something, but trademarked.
But now for me, it's I fell back on Frosted Flakes. I loved it as a kid, but that was like a medium range cereal. And now it's like, if I just want that little bit of sweetness, a little bit of Frosted Flakes goes a long way. I hate cornflakes. Love Frosted Flakes.
See, I went the other way on that too. I really like boring cereals. I also am not a breakfast eater, so using me as a litmus test for best cereals is probably not the best idea, but...
Well, I'll be honest, it's the best time to have cereals at night. I love cereal at late at night.
And you say that's the best time for having cereal?
It's the best time for anything.
Okay.
There's an old McDonald's Mac commercial. Mac Tonight, whatever that was. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, there is an old Mac Tonight commercial. Does it deal with anything, or is it just...
I was going to sing it, and then I was like, I don't remember half the words, so I better not even start.
That's okay. Neither does McDonald's, and probably rightfully so. Did Mac Tonight come out at the same time as New Coke? Because that would say a lot, really. Both of those were terrible ideas for...
I'd say New Coke was goated as the worst soda ever.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
So bad. So bad, in fact.
How bad was it?
It was so bad that when they decided to bring back the classic recipe because of how bad it was, it found a way to completely outsell any number of Coke sales that they had ever done previously. They were so excited to get rid of that slop
I remember
that they bought for fear that it might come back. Not quite as exciting as the Flaming Hot Cheetos guy.
I don't know anything about that guy.
He was a janitor at Frito-Lay.
Boom.
Came up with the idea for Flamin' Hot. And now is an executive vice president of the company. And it's a product that sells over $1 billion annually.
So you are like 2 steps away from being the vice president of Kellogg. Are they the ones that do the Pixie Sticks? Or the
Kicks?
I
don't think it's Kellogg. Is it General Mills?
Yeah, it might be them. They made all the boring.
I'm not really 2 steps away. Well, I guess I'm 2 steps away. I would need to be hired as a janitor and then come up with the idea.
Well, you got the idea, so you've already done 1 step. You just need them to hear it.
Oh, so I'm 1 step away.
Yeah.
Well, I have to pitch the idea, so I'm 2 steps away. Hired as a janitor, pitch the idea of Pixie Kicks. For the record, I don't know how I got through that statement without flubbing it up because there were way too many similar sounds in there. But pitch the idea of Pixie Kicks. Watch the money roll in.
And take over the world.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's your GOAT car of all time?
That's a tough one because I have the ones that are like my fantasy favorite cars, like, you know, the DeLorean from Back to the Future or the General Lee.
Like specifically the one from Back to the Future where it can travel in time, or just any DeLorean?
Obviously.
Have you seen the new DeLorean?
Yeah, which is pretty sick.
I would buy that in a heartbeat if I had that kind of money.
But my favorite car is a muscle car. It's anywhere from a 68 to a 71 Camaro. I just love those. But a lot of the muscle cars back then would fall under the category. But I always wanted the Chevy Camaro.
So one of my best friends in college, I was best man at his wedding. Brian, if you're out there, bam, you're pregnant. So he had in college a 68 Chevelle, which was pretty badass. And I guess the engine had broken down. His dad worked for the car industry for quite some time. Anyways, they replaced that engine with a 1982 Chevy S10 engine. Mm-hmm. That thing was loud and could get going. But the best part of that was we had parking structures at school. And so he would make it a point to park on the top level so that when he left for the day, he set off every car alarm on the way down the parking structure.
That's glorious.
And even though that may not be my GOAT car, that was a pretty GOAT moment.
I figured your GOAT car would have a spoiler on it.
Well, I mean, even though I did have an Instagram account for a little bit that would lead you to believe such things. No, it's funny. My current car is for certain not my GOAT car, but as a native Californian, my favorite cars probably aren't very exciting because they just get really great gas mileage because that excites me.
That's something to get excited about now, though. So
it's, like Candace has her Tacoma, which does not get super great gas mileage. So then I got a car that gets like 50 miles to the gallon, and that makes me happy.
Ooh, I do have a second part to mine.
Uh-huh.
So the muscle car was my dream car. But when I was a kid, and at least until I was about 15, I wanted a dune buggy. Like, I don't know why.
Like a proper dune buggy?
Yeah. Like straight, I wanted the big headlights. Like, I wanted the Scooby-Doo real life dune buggy.
And when I was a kid, I wanted stupid shit like a Lamborghini, but
well, yeah, everybody wanted that, or the Ferrari Testarossa when that came.
But we didn't even know why we wanted it. We just wanted it because we heard that you're supposed to want that.
Well, they were badass looking.
They weren't that BA.
I thought so, but I'm dumb.
Well, you said it.
Oh.
I don't know. That's the other problem when and I'm the one that brought up this topic. I really don't get excited by cars.
Yeah.
I want it to get me from point A to B,
yep,
and be as economical as possible.
Yep. I see both sides of it. Like, I love a car with clean lines and looks tough and mean. That's why I like those muscle cars from the late 60s, early 70s, because they were all beautiful. And every now and then they bring that back a little bit. So I appreciate that. I appreciate a beautiful vehicle. But at the end of the day, that's how I've always been. It's just like, it just needs to get me to where I need to go and hopefully not cost me a ton of money to fix it when it breaks or runs for 20 years.
Well, and it's funny. It makes me think back to high school. There were a whole group of people that were really into Volkswagen Golfs for some point.
Really?
Yeah.
That was never a thing. That was never a thing here.
For some reason, I think is what I meant to say. It's relevant. Anyways, the point is that now looking back on it, I'm like, wow, that's a really like logical car to desire. Like, really? It's not super expensive. The car that I had when I met Candace was a Golf. It's not super expensive. It gets good gas mileage, but it still looks like a fun little car to get around in. And so I think that's what everybody got excited for. Mm-hmm. Like Volkswagen, for all their faults, they always give cars pretty good lines. And so they look better than the price you're paying for them, but they function properly for the most part.
Do you remember, I don't know how old you were, but do you remember when like the lowrider culture took off? And like that was a huge thing. I think it was like late 80s, early 90s when it really took off, and it had like, there was Lowrider magazine, and it was really big.
And every video had cars that bounced and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, that hit Kingman about a year and a half after it had already hit.
That's the fastest any fad has ever hit Kingman.
Well, Kingman's literally like, what, 50 minutes from California? It's like an hour at the most from California.
Yeah, but the problem is nobody wants to drive there, so you have to walk. So however long it takes to walk from California to Kingman is how long it takes for a fad to reach.
But it was so funny when the fad hit Kingman and everybody lost their mind, and it was like, it just came off really sad that it had been, in the culture for so long, but we thought it was new. And well, not we. Even me back then was high school. I was like, this is lame, guys.
I can't believe they just released the Sega Genesis there last week.
I'm going to stand in line. I stood in line to get that one too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about time. I've been waiting for that thing for 30 years.
You ready for the Saturday Night Live reference?
Sure.
Do you remember when, what's the guy from The Fly? Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. Why didn't I remember, of all things, that he was from The Fly? Anyways. So he's on an episode and he sits down with Will Ferrell, who's playing Harry Carey.
One of the best impersonations ever.
So good. And
that is a goated impression.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I've never seen it be bad. Like, it's made me laugh every time.
So one of Will's questions as Harry Carey to Jeff Goldblum.
Can you do it? Can you do it?
I'm about to, if I can muster up the energy. Is, so if you had to choose from being the greatest scientist in your field or having mad cow disease, what would you choose? And Goldblum replies with, I think I'd have to choose being the best scientist in my field. And he says, oh, good. I was worried you were going to say mad cow disease. I worry a lot. That's why my friends call me Whiskers.
Classics. Oh, you have a little bit of a walking in there.
You can't go anywhere without a little bit of walking.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, Christopher Walken.
One of the funny things in restaurants is sometimes in restaurants they'll put a picture of Christopher Walken on the walk-in refrigerator so that you know what it is.
Do they really do that?
Yeah, that's really a thing.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
You know what would make that better? Is if you could incorporate Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't think I can do it. You can't just combine impersonations.
Sure you can. You just did Christopher Walken.
Get to the chopper.
It's not a tuna.
This chopper brought to you by Budweiser, king of beers.
Should we explain it's not a tuna?
All right. So during the podcast about Hella, I mentioned that I really want to start the Instagram.
Hashtag.
Well, not hashtag. I mean, it would be a hashtag also, but the Instagram handle at It's Not a Tuna. Because of Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous line in Kindergarten Cop where he said it's not a tumor. And so if you're bored with your life and you want to see some pictures of fish that aren't tuna, go to Instagram, type in It's Not a Tuna, and wait for the magic.
Yeah, we're going to take this tick off.
And if you've got any pictures of fish that aren't tuna, just make sure to tag us in it.
Yep. Hangout, sling out.
Keep it clean, though, people.
Yeah. Hashtag hangout, sling out. Or sometimes hashtag hoso. We don't know if that's catching on yet. I think this episode could be goated.
I don't know about all that. It was a pretty good episode. I feel like it's the episode where, as many times as we said it, we talked the least about it. What was nice about it is not needing to look up the definition.
That was kind of, that's new.
This isn't like FOMO. This is something that he actually knows. So it was good.
Oh my God. He has a fear of goats.
But yeah, I would say it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
Goat episode? Yeah, probably not. We've got some good ones in there.
Yeah. Hashtag bougie.
Bougie's fantastic. Not that I ever want to say the word again, but it's there. Yeah.
Actually, the FOMO episode is quite good as well.
Yeah. But I think it was a good one. I think we might be able to even one up this one on the next one. Will that one then become the GOAT? I don't know.
Goated part 2?
Lost in New York.
So this wasn't the goated episode?
I mean, we can call it the goated. No, it's not the goated episode. But it's a good episode.
Yeah.
It's the goodest of all time. No,
you can't do that.
It's the greatest of this time. It's the GOT.
Got? I've got this. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. This has been Hang Out with Your Slang Out. And I'm Dan.
I'm Matt.
Your beard is goated.
This podcast is over.
I know it just might be the greatest movie of all time.
Now I know you're high. Do we do drug testing on the show? Can we start doing drug testing on this show?
Yeah, we might have to. Coming from the man drinking liquid Aloha.
Sir, it's Longboard Island Lager. Isn't it even what I wanted to drink tonight?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't stop.
No. You wanted to drink that. Totally want to drink that. Because we would love that as a sponsor.
No, I was trying to drink our new beer for Walter Station studio session. Because we were literally in the middle of a studio session.
Well, what do you mean trying? Why couldn't you pull that off? Shouldn't you just have all the beers with you at all time? It's like a business card.
Yeah, but then the beers would get hot.
It's this thing called ice.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's the goat of water. Prove me wrong.
I mean, really good water is the goat of water.
I know liquid death is the goat of water. As I take a drink from my liquid death can. Murder your thirst, people.